Hey Canucks fans, it's a Canucks game day. Elias Pettersson has a new agent and I've launched channel memberships. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clay Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take on one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Monday, January the 25th. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. Okay, lots to get to. Let's start with the quick one. The one I'm most excited about actually is I've launched memberships for this channel. So I invite you to become part of the CCC Crew, the Clay's Canucks commentary crew right here on YouTube. And right off the bat, I want to give a shout out to my first member. And she actually chose the best membership, the top one, the Hall of Fame membership. So big shout out to Jens95. Thank you for being my first member, regardless of level. So I won't say too much here. I did a vlog about it, a video about it earlier this morning to announce it. But in essence, 3 different levels of support that you could give me. One of them is All-Star, one of them is Franchise, and one of them is Hall of Fame. And usually, I will always be doing the shout-outs, the Hall of Fame shout-outs at the end of these videos, but for this first one, I want to do it right off the bat. And then, regardless of what level you're in, I'll put all those in the written descriptions as well, in the video description down below this video. So once again, thank you to Jens95 for being not only my first member, but for going for the highest membership, and that is the Hall of Fame membership. And now we got to figure out a time to do our one-on-one Zoom call, but we'll worry about that later. Check out my other video from earlier today to find out all the details you need to know about these memberships. And don't worry if you don't feel like spending or you don't feel like that's a good use of your money. That's okay. Not here to judge, and I appreciate your support nonetheless. And I will not be changing anything that I do on this channel, i.e. Canucks news analysis, pre-game, post-game live streams, but there'll be additional perks with the membership. So check out that video. I'll link it in the description below, and I'll link it in the first comment as well. Okay, number 2, it's a Canucks game day, and it's a very important series that the Canucks are starting tonight. It's a 3-game series against the Ottawa Senators, Monday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. The Canucks need to take 2 out of 3. They just have to. And it'd be even better if they swept. You guys know that I said take 2 out of 3 from Montreal, take 2 out of 3 from Ottawa, and then you're at 500 after 10 games. Well, then they took 1 out of 3 from Montreal. So to even out, it would be nice if they swept Ottawa. Easier said than done. But after only winning 1 from Montreal, you got to take at least 2 from Ottawa, if not all 3. Ottawa is battling with Vancouver at the bottom of the North Division. Yes, it's early, but we're already starting to see some trends develop in the division. And you simply don't want to be coming out of this series as the bottom team in the division, because you don't want to, it's a short season. You guys know this. You don't want to dig yourself a hole that's too hard to get out of. So a couple of things that I expect tonight. I expect a really good effort. The Canucks need to start playing like a desperate team. It's crazy to say that 8 games in the season, but they're 2-5, and you don't want to come out of this homestand 2-8 or 3-7. They got to get to 4-6 or 5-5 would be ideal. So I expect to see Braden Holtby in net because it sounds like he had the starter's net at practice yesterday, and with maybe we're not so much 1 game on, 1 game off now, a perfect rotation of goalies. We'll see. On the blue line, if Hamonic is still out, then I expect to see Jordy Ben in his place. But then we have 5 of our top 6 guys: Hughes, Edler, Schmidt, and then Juolevi Myers, who started the season. And like I said, you have Jordy Ben coming in for the injured Travis Hamonic. Up front, we'll see. The way the Canucks skated, and I always say that Travis Green likes to play as he practices, you had Adam Gaudette and Bailey still on the outside looking in. And then you had lines of the Lotto line, you had Horvat, Höglander, and Pearson. The third line was Sutter between McCune and Virtanen, and the fourth line was Jay Beagle in the middle with Mott and Roussel. So again, it looks like Adam Gaudette could be a healthy scratch again tonight, and Justin Bailey would be the extra forward as well. So a couple of things to keep your eye on when it comes to the lineup. Ottawa, they're not the most talented team. They're going to be good in a few years. They're not there yet, but they're certainly going to work hard, and they have enough talented players. And for whatever reason, Chris Tierney always seems to do really well against the Canucks. Always. He's the one name I always notice from the Ottawa Senators, more than Brady Tkachuk, more than Thomas Chabot. So we'll see what Chris Tierney does, and hopefully he doesn't become a Canuck killer tonight. But yes, don't forget, after the game, I'll be jumping onto YouTube 15 minutes after the final whistle to do my post-game live stream. And that's not a members-only thing. That's for everyone on this channel. So I hope you join me then. And I'm looking forward to a win for sure. Okay, last thing. It's a big story. Elias Pettersson has a new agent. We started to hear rumors about it on Twitter over the weekend. Elliot Friedman, Rick Dollywall, but then others have confirmed that he's indeed switched from Michael Dutch, I think his name is, Michael Dutch at Eclipse Sports Management. And I'm reading an article by Patrick Johnson on the Province. And now he's going to be represented by super agent Pat Brisson. And Pat Brisson is part of the CAA Hockey agency. That's the Creative Artists Agency. Yeah, CAA, Creative Artists Agency Hockey, CAA Hockey. And they don't just do sports, they do entertainment as well. But they're a massive, massive global brand when it comes to representation of, like I said, not only athletes, but of entertainment people, moguls as well. And in Brisson, wow, he represents, according to Patrick Johnson, $1 billion worth of contracts in the NHL. And I'm looking at their list right now. Actually, I'll get to that in a sec. So Pat Brisson's with CAA agency. Another name that we hear a lot of is JP Barry. He's part of CAA Hockey as well. So you have at least those two guys there, Brisson and Barry, two of the super agents when it comes to the NHL. Now, when you look at CAA's clients, they're pretty good. You know, I'm looking right now, and they have 21 players listed, and Quinn Hughes is one of them. So if they're putting their top 21, it's probably not the top 21 moneymakers because Hughes is still on his ELC. I'll get to that in a second. But listen to these names that are on CAA Hockey's website. Barzo, Crosby, Dubois, Duchesne, Forsberg, Fowler, Giroux, Hughes and Hughes. That's Jack and Quinn, of course. Johnson, Jones, that's Eric Johnson, Seth Jones, Kane, Kopitar, McKinnon, Malkin, Marchessault, Pasternak, Riley, Tavares, Taves, and Rowensky. So a who's who of players there, and whether it's represented by Brisson, by Barry, or another one of their agents, you can see why they have so many, why they're recognized as probably the leading agency when it comes to representing NHL players. Now let's get into what this means for both Pettersson and by extension Hughes. Brisson is also the actual agent for Quinn Hughes. So with Elias Pettersson going there, now Pat Brisson is undoubtedly going to negotiate those two contracts, the extensions for both of our star players together, whether you call it as a package or the same terms or similar money or similar terms but different money but close, whatever. You know that Brisson's he's got a lot more bargaining power now where he can put the two contracts together and at least negotiate them together. And we know they're in the same spot, right? Even though Pettersson played one more season than Hughes, they're both in the third year, the final year of their entry-level deal. Bit different. Quinn Hughes is a 10.2C guy. We know that those type of guys are that special category where they have no arbitration rights and they cannot be offer sheeted, whereas Elias Pettersson can. Of course, I presume the Canucks would match any offer that comes through, but we'll worry about that later. But yeah, Pettersson and Hughes, different contract scenarios from a standpoint of their classification, but more importantly, they're both up for new contracts starting next season. So as Patrick Johnson points out, this actually helps Quinn Hughes a lot more because you could argue he had less bargaining power as a 10.2C. Again, no offer sheet, he can't be offer sheeted and no arbitration rights. But if Brisson's going to negotiate for these guys together, then I think Hughes' bargaining power does increase with this deal. People will be making note that Pat Brisson and JP Barry have come with the philosophy that for guys coming out of their entry-level deals, that they should go for a 4 or 5 year deal because that gets them to unrestricted free agency, which happens 7 years, a total of 7 years of contracts, usually a 3-year entry-level deal and then a 4 or 5 year. If you go a 2 or 3 year bridge, your third contract still got to be, you're not a UFA yet. So look for that to be a storyline that Brisson and Brisson will push for Pettersson and Hughes to get contracts of at least 4 or 5 years, taking them to 7 or 8 years, and then they'll become UFAs at the expiration of their second contract. So that's a big, big thing to keep in mind. Another small thing to keep in mind, kind of interesting, is I talked about Pat Brisson, Hughes, and Pettersson now. His partner JP Barry, he represented Tyler Myers and Louis Eriksson. He represents Tyler Myers and Louis Eriksson. And what two Canucks contracts are do most Canucks fans have the biggest problem with? Tyler Myers and Louis Eriksson. Now, I'm not saying at all that we're going to have any problem with the contracts for Pettersson and Hughes, but we know obviously that these agents work hard, grind hard, and get the money for that's why we keep complaining about the money that Myers and Eriksson are getting. So a pretty big story. It just kind of broke over the weekend, but it's going to have massive ramifications. Lastly, do I think is this whole switching of agents affecting Pettersson's play? I kind of hinted yesterday, I can't really get into the minds of these guys. I can only see objectively what I see on the ice. So it'd be pure speculation, but you'd have to think that anything as big as this, switching agents, thinking about your next contract, you can't help but think it might have some sort of effect on someone's psyche, someone's mental state, and someone's play. So Canucks fans, there we go. Lots to talk about today. You can talk about channel memberships. You can give me a score prediction for tonight's game, Vancouver-Ottawa, game 1 of 3, and tell me what you think about Elias Pettersson switching agents to Pat Brisson, who also represents Quinn Hughes. Leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply. As always, once again, a shout out to Jens95, Hall of Fame membership. Thank you very much, Jen. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you, whether you join me as a member or not. Join me after the game for tonight's post-game live stream, 15 minutes after the final buzzer. And subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. I got to work on this ending. I got to figure out where the shout out should go. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.